Welcome back, everyone. चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। So welcome back. Computer applications in mining. So till now, we were doing finite element analysis. We were seeing which all methods we can do in finite element analysis. We have seen some demos on phase 2 software. Uh, we have seen how we can make new excavations, new slopes, and analyze them for their stress, strain, their deformation, and other parameters that we can find, right? Uh, Today, what we will be doing is, even though we have covered most of the things and you all have a good idea of how to simulate and all, we'll do a practical problem, a very simple practical problem, and that's why today will be a small class probably, but let's see. Uh, it is like, even though we are aware of the tutorials, we are aware of what to do if it is given, but in practical scenarios, if any problem is there, how to interpret that and how we can convert the whole thing into a simulation curve. So that we can see today. Before that, I think all of you have the finite element software phase 2, and I hope you have worked on that. So if anyone has any problems, anyone faced any difficulty till now, anything in that, we can discuss it before we do today's work. Uh, Probably today will be last one on phase, because phase and this phase related work. Tomorrow, if everything goes okay, we'll be moving on to 3D simulations on ANSYS. So we'll be seeing how we do that, how we do basic simulations to very complex simulations there. And yeah. So anyone had any points to discuss? Any points that were problematic when you did your exercise for finite element analysis, phase 2? Anything? Uh, what all also we can do is we can start this today, and maybe you guys can remember if something problem was there, so we can take that up later. Okay, so let's start then. Today, what we have a practical problem, very simple problem, and what it is basically opencast mine slope or opencast dump slope. Acha, for someone asked about berm in last class. Actually, what you were saying was also correct to an extent. and I also was missing the term. The thing that the barrier that we make for a haul road that basically prevents it from slipping, or if in case of an accident, if it prevents uh, the basically uh, our things to fall down, is also called a berm. But again, in mining terminology and other things, berm is a very incomplete definition. Uh, it's not just this part, it's a whole structure. It comprises of something like this. Okay, and that's why when we go for final slopes, like even in catchment berms or even in our even dumps, we leave these berms even though we don't anticipate any movement of machinery here. And that the reason these are called berms are because the work is similar. They basically prevent anything to fall off. And these can be considered as widths or bench widths. Sometimes these can even go more than 10 meters or so. But uh, again, terminology is very ambiguous, but again, these are also called berms. So uh, can be a little bit confusing, but yes, the horizontal portion separating sometimes these benches is also termed as berm because of the structural way in which it is made. Someone was saying something. किसी की आवाज आ रही थी. Ashutosh was saying something. No. Okay. Anyways, so sorry for taking a side track. This was the problem now. Hold on. Uh, so a slope is given. This is a bench, and the total dump height is given as 100-meter tall. So this is the total height is 100-meter from the base, right? With two benches and a berm separating the two, right? So this is a condition that is there. The berm width is 5 meters and the bench angle is 80 degrees. So berm width is given as 5 meters here, right? And the width, oh, sorry, the angle is 80 degrees. And the material properties of the overburden were tested in the laboratory and are given in as under. The base is sandstone base with material properties as under again. So overburden and base properties are given. Cohesion in megapascal, the friction, tensile strength, unit weight, Poisson's ratio, and Young's modulus, all things are given. I think all this is needed for our simulations, so that is convenient. Uh, Find factor of safety of the system, cross-check with strength reduction factor. So we have to do two different simulations. I think we can do one for factor of safety by simple slide or limit equilibrium method, and then we can do a SRF-based finite element method work. Then we have to find a few more things. Maximum stress in kilopascal and deformation of base. So that stress analysis and deformation analysis will be done on finite elements. So we will do that. So since we have to do it in base, one of the tutorials last time we were discussing it did something similar when we were discussing about this geotextile stabilized RE walls. So when we were discussing that, we were seeing how first we have to basically simulate the base only, and then we have to give a slope over that. So we have to design our model that way. And what is the maximum strain? Approximate failure circle, if any. So when it fails or if it doesn't, whatever is the case, We have to find the maximum strain and approximate failure circle. Approximate failure circle we can find in finite element. Oh, sorry, limit equilibrium also, and we can find it finite element also. So let's see where we get, and suggested stabilization, whatever we can do. So this is very straightforward problem that generally uh, we can have. So in practical scenarios also something similar will be available, but complexity will be more. But in this case, it is very simplified in that way. We have a overburden dump. We have two benches on that and a berm that separates it, right? An angle of slope that is there, and that is given. So what we can do is basically we can convert these values into coordinates. So that will be our first work. When we have the coordinates in x, y values, we can basically use them to make our geometry. Second thing we have to do is we have these material properties. So we have two different materials, base and overburden. So we have to construct a base, right? And I mean, in the simulation part, we have to construct a base as well. So apart from this, whatever is seen, we do have a base also. And then we have to do the actual simulation work. So since no other things are given, like there is no loading that is given, or there are no stresses that are given, field stresses, because this is overburden material, so anyways field stresses won't be there. Even for the base, it is not given. So we'll consider it as body stresses only. And what else? What else do we have? That's it. We have this much information. So in order to start, we have to remember what we need and where to get it from. So let's first open the slide software, because that's the first point we want to take it started from there. And good thing about these softwares are slide and phase. Now you can actually import geometry from one to another. So we'll show you how to do that. So we don't need to make geometry again and again. Now, what I will do is, rather than is calculating from the start, I will make an approximate geometry like this, just for myself to understand how it will be looking like. And then I'll go for the main calculations, and then we will transform it. So let's start with 0, 0, right? And because we are seeing 100-meter this height, and we have these 2-meter benches and slope angle of 80. So and we have to give base as well. So let's keep some point here as 0 on the left edge of this slope, right? And because we have to give base, let's give a 20-meter base. So 0 minus 20 will be the second point, right? And let's keep the base as around it's 80 degrees. Overall, it can be around 75, 70 degrees. So the lateral extent, I am just trying to assume how much it will be, just for a rough calculation before we start the main ones. So for rough, it will be around, if it is 100, it will be less than half. So assume it is like 40, 30 or 40, and we can keep a good 20-meter base extra on this side. So let's keep it as 60. So it will be minus 20. Oh, sorry, 60 will be on the x-axis and minus 20 on the y, right? And then we go back to the top as 0 and 60 and 0, right? So that's the base. And next, what I will do is I will be becoming more rough and just create two benches, 50 meters each, so approximately, and giving a small bench, a small berm and making it as around 100 and putting it somewhere, and let's just close it here. Right. So something like that, but we will improve this model later on. For now, we have just tried to, have a quite similar but not exact geometry here. So we'll improve this. Right now, why I did this, because we get the X and Y coordinates on a rough scale. Now what we can do is, we have these points, right? So on the, if we see, this point is, can I mark it here? Uh, I think I can show these vertices, uh, show coordinates, right? So I get an external boundary, and yes, so I can get the coordinates here shown properly. So at least I have an idea. And what I can do is, I can edit these coordinates and copy these all coordinates. So I can control select all and copy. And what I want to do is basically actually calculate it on the basis of how things are. So let's paste them in Excel. If I open an Excel file, okay, and these are X values and these are Y values, and let's just paste it here. So these are the coordinates that are there, right? And we have points, so point 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. All right. So this is what we have actually uh, tried to come close to, but we what we need is to follow the guidelines that are given in the problem. So what we'll do is, since we know how things are going on, so if we just assume that uh, this is the point, uh, suppose this is the slope and we have the base here, right, extra base here, and so this is 1, this is 2, change the color so that it is visible better. This is 1, right, this point, this is 2, this is 3, this is again red, 4, right, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Okay, so I think all these 9 points we have, and now what we can do is we can actually do our major calculations on the basis of what points we have. So uh, suppose these are 0, so we have this 20, that is okay, and minus 20, so all the 4 uh, starting points we can assume as correct, right? The fifth point will be the starting point for us. So that will be the toe. So for keeping that toe and to make the calculations easier, what we can do is uh, we can put this x as some whole number. So let's keep it as 30. So, oh, sorry, make a new one. So that we don't lose the original ones. This one are x1, y1. We are making the designing the slope again, right? So let's put these and put it here, right? And we are saying that let's keep this point as 30 and 0, right? So the fifth point is kept as 30 at 0, right? And what we know is that 6 point is at an angle of 80 degree and 50 meters ahead. So y will be 50, right? And And for the next point, the 7th point also, the y will be same. So keep it as 50, right? For, sorry. So for the 8th point, y will be 100 because that's the top. And even for the 9th point, y will be 100, right? So we have the y values, the exact y values we want. Now we have to find the x1s. So x value, for that we just have to give these the negative the cos theta components of these heights. So basically what I mean is if this height is given as L, right? And we have to find this one, W. So, sorry, tan theta components. So this is 80 degrees already given. So we have these H by W equals to tan 80, right? And W will be equals to H by tan 80. Simple. So that's what we have to just subtract at every interval. This is given as 5 already. So this we have this distance. And again, this will be similar to H by tan 80. We are assuming that height of the benches is same. And that's how we can actually find out the coordinates. So let's do that quickly. So this was 30. So 30 minus uh, this one is H. H is 50 over tan 80. So tan of 80. Let's close this. And I have to make another bracket here. And I think I have missed the plus sign. So yes. क्या हुआ? Correct or not? एक बार देख लेते हैं just to evaluate if it is working properly. We can evaluate these just to see what is happening. So it has converted radians from 80 to radians. It has converted, then it has converted tan. 50 by 5 should be, yeah, and it has subtracted. So correct, or it's working. So the 6 point is 21.18 according to our calculations, right? And this one, the next one will be 5 minus this. So this minus, oh sorry, this minus 5. So we are reaching here the 7th point. 8th point again will be the upper one minus. So what we can do is we can actually just copy this one. When we do this, plus this minus the 50 by tan radians 80, right? So this, oops, what happened? Two minuses. We have to make one minus, right? And this is 7. And this one, the 9th point, we can keep it as we like. So and now we if we see that model that was there, right? We made a rough model, and that's looking very thin, and our even the circles won't match up, right? So let's keep it a bit on the back side. And what we can do in that way is we can give around if we have given 30 meters here, we can give around 20 meters or 30 meters in this way, this direction as well. So accordingly, we can basically, in order for the slip circles to basically come within that region, we can use this and subtract 30, right? And that will be the same coordinate for the 9th point. Now, the important thing is because we had all the systems we defined below as well, just to show you where it is. So because now 9th point has moved from 0 to minus whatever this value is, we have to actually move this point as well, because that is the 1 and 2. So we have to move 1 and 2 points at these locations. So we move these points at minus 22 and these points minus 22. So 9, 1 and 2 points are done with same x, right? And all the other points are defined in that way. So we have new x and y values. Let's try and put it there. And we copied these, and just opening the software, we will basically adjust the coordinates, copy all this and paste them. Okay, so we have pasted our calculated values. Now let's click OK and see what happens. So even now, what I am feeling is that the slip circles won't be able to accommodate in this direction. So because the width should be a little bit more. So what I will do is I will change these to maybe double of this 30. So let's keep it as 60 somewhere here, so that the slip circles won't be cut off on this side. So let's do that rather than doing on directly this. What I can do is I can just change this 30 to 60, and I think most of the things will change automatically. Yeah, so now it is minus 52. So I'll copy this and again edit the coordinates. Select all and update, right? So a very bad looking slope, but yeah. Now do remember that these are the boundary conditions. These arrows are the boundary conditions. So we have to basically adjust these. So move these limits to the back side and this one till the here. One thing more we have to do is, because this is the base and we don't want to do the slope analysis on this, we want to do the deformation analysis on this, so that will be done later. For the slope analysis and basic factor of safety, we will basically just give a material boundary. So for material boundary, uh, okay. So for material boundaries, we add a material boundary and just click these, connect these and click enter. So we have the two materials separated. Let's define the material. Uh, why is this coming here? So let's define the material and let one be the overburden, the other one be the base, SST base. And we have been given the properties, so let's check those out. What are the properties there? Oh, we have to, okay. First, yeah. So again, let's do that. And for overburden, we have a unit weight of 19.15. So we can do that here. Do remember to check the units, because here there will be confusion, because here you do see that cohesion is given in kilonewton per meter square, that is kilopascal. Here we have cohesion in megapascal, even though its value is 0, they still. And do take care of the units whenever we are working. So now for this simple analysis, we just need cohesion and friction, right? That's limit equilibrium. But when we go for the finite element, we will need other things to find its stresses and strains. So let's just fill up whatever is needed here. Cohesion is 0. Oh, sorry, cohesion is 2.25, but in megapascal. So in kilopascal, it will be 2250, right? And for friction is 35, that is true, same here. And let's just change the color here. Let's change it to, let's just change it to orange. Base, it will be sandstone. So let's keep it as some, brownish color, okay, whatever. Okay. And unit weight is, for this case, is 22.1. Let's keep it that. Cohesion is 10 megapascals, so this is 10,000 kilopascal. Phi is 32, and I think that's it. Yeah. So we will zoom in. This is our figure. So we have to define the base separately. So let's assign the base. That's done. And let's see what other settings we have to do. So we have to change the direction because the slope is direction is changed for now, right? And in methods, let's put some more. Groundwater we don't need. The statistics for now we don't need. And other things are okay. So let's click OK. And for now we have to give the gridding for, because we are working now right now in a element analysis, limit equilibrium, sorry. So let's give a circular failure but auto refine search, and divisions along the slope can be increased. And what else can be done? We can have a composite surface. Composite surface basically means that it can have non-circular failure as well. So we are giving that option to the system to just see if that is a possibility, right? Let's click OK for now. Let's see what happens. We have the limits defined. We have the material defined, and we have defined the gridding. So let's save this and find out what we get. This one is practical problem 1, right? And let's compute this and see where we stand right now. It's computed very quickly, but I feel it is failing. That is why it's computed very quickly. Let's see. Yeah, so you do see what is happening here. It's a sort of a composite failure. The full height on the top is basically a non-circular portion that will be failing exactly like this. And on the side, it will be a circular failure. But the failure factor of safety is very high. And one of the reasons is because we have good strength to this material. So that's why might be the probable reason might be that. And so our factor of safety is well above 5. So that is quite good. In the other method, Jumbo simplified, we have 7.2. That is taking the whole slope. In Jumbo corrected, we have again the whole slope, again 7.4. And in the Spencer method, oh my God, we have 7.9. So quite stable. But in Bishop method, so Bishop has, see again, this algorithm is not present in other methods like Jumbo and Spencer. So this is a sort of a complex kind of failure. The main failure might be circular direction might be in this, and the above one will be failing in the straight direction. So it won't be a part of the circle, but when this part will fail, these will also. So these kind of problems also we can get. So first thing we got is 5 point. First answer to our problem, that was requirement was find out the factor of safety of the system. So minimum factor of safety is 5, so much stable already. So that is good. Let's move ahead and see what else we can do. Okay, let's close this for now. No. And this is the model we have in slide. So what we will do is, rather than making new geometry there, Maybe we have to make a new geometry there, but still, let me show you how we can actually import all these things right directly there. So we will not be writing everything again and again. Uh, so this we will using now the finite element analysis. What is this? Old. So for finite element analysis, we again need all the basics, right? We have to give the pre-processing stage where we have to have the geometry, material properties, uh, elemental meshing, right? And boundary conditions. So let's start. But what we can do is, because we have already done the basic analysis, we can directly import from the slide. So in the import slide, we just give the location. Uh, okay. Oh yes. So one thing is a problem. Let me show you what is the problem. This what we did save it was a uh, basically a .slim. If you see, it is a SLIM. So generally, most of the slide auto saves are done in SLIM. Let me open that one to show what's the difference and why it can't be directly imported for us. Uh, yeah. So this was also .slim formats. SLIM format is basically the uh, uh, a compressed format. We can also save it as SLI. So if you save it as a slide file, so there is a compressed format is slim, SLIM. Main format is SLI. SLI basically has or holds more details. So in order to import it, it will be easy. So I have saved it as SLI. I think that will be useful. Now in phase, we import it by importing the slide. And if we see now, again going to all that, now it is available. Okay, so now it will ask me whether to put the strength reduction analysis. For now, I will say no. I'll do that manually later on. Automatically generate mesh? No, I want to just see what it is. So I can directly import my geometry here from the slide. So that becomes easy, right? One thing more I want to do is want to import the material properties, but I think those will be some of them will be imported because we have not filled the other portions, right? We have just filled the unit weight, we have just filled the tensile strength and friction angle and cohesion, right? So the other details, right, Young's modulus, Poisson's ratio, we have to fill and also define the plastic part. So how we do that, we'll see. Before that, uh, one thing we have to see that what the question asks, what the problem is. So let's just go again here. It asks cross-check with SRF. That will do in just a second. It also asks find out the maximum stress and deformation of the base. Now, to do that, we have to basically what we have to do is we have to do this in stages. We have to first put the base like this, and we have to in next stage we have to put the overburden material so that we can see the difference in the stresses here. So what we can do is we have to start with the stages, and in stage one, so let's go to the project settings first. I am trying to do it at one go. Otherwise, we can do it at different simulations, right? So let's do it in two stages. In stage one, there can be only a base. So for that, if I delete this vertex, will the stage 2 be changed? Yes, the stage 2 will be changed. So what I might have to do is Okay, let's do that. Stage 1, delete. So we are just trying to make the stage 1 only the base. So that is it. And in stage 2, what we'll do is, rather than trying to find other ways, let's just paste our coordinates here that we already had in our uh, clipboard. So that's it. And put a material layer here. So that becomes easy. So we have different stages. Oh, my mistake. So stage 1 is this. Stage 2. Uh, okay, my mistake. Now we can't do this here because that has to be some sort of like an excavation. So let's do the one step at a time first. Let's do the original one that we wanted to do uh, rather than doing that. Hmm. And then we'll see how we can do the next one. So let's define the meshing and discretization here. First, we have defined the materials, we have defined the geometry, we have defined the materials, right? Let's define the mesh setup. So mesh, we can give whatever we want uh, according to the slope, because slope in overburden slope, we can have different graded meshes as well as uniform meshes, but graded meshes are more applicable in non-uniform geometries. So let's put that. Default number of nodes is 100 or 60. Let's keep it as 100. Hold on. And let's discretize it. So you can see the edges discretized, and then we can mesh it up. So let's click OK now. And what we have to do is we have to free these slide faces. So let's free those. And once we free them, we have to reinforce the edge, because the last uh, point was freed when we freed this edge. And uh, that's the base, right? And so that's it. We have to see on this part only. So all the analysis will be done here. Now we have given these boundary conditions. We have given the geometry. We have done meshing and discretization. Now we have to give material properties. So all the pre-processing stages have to be covered. Before that, let's put it on half window so that I can see the properties. All right, define material. And what else we need? In overburden, we have unit weight. We don't have Poisson's ratio, so let's keep the Poisson's ratio here in kilopascal. So in megapascal it is given. So 120,000, right? Poisson's ratio, it has not updated somehow. So let's put it as 0.3. And 2250 is cohesion, that is correct. 35, 2250, sorry, tensile strength is 0. It's a overburden material, it's like soil, so it won't have any. And we have to give the plastic properties, right? So in plastic properties, what generally we do is either we give post-failure behavior properties, or we keep them as it is so that the plastic deformation can be represented. So let's keep them as it is for now, because they have not given any other residual values that we need here. So let's allow the plastic deformation, keeping the friction as it is, and since cohesion is not there anyways, so let's keep it that way. And for base, 22.1 is correct. Young's modulus is 20,000 megapascals, so that's 20 gigapascals. So let's count zeros properly. 20,000 megapascal. Another 3 zeros is gigapascal. Okay. And Poisson's ratio again is 0.3. Tensile strength, we have 20 megapascals, so 20,000 kilopascals. Cohesion, we have 10, that is correct. 32, let this be elastic because we don't want the base to be in any type of analysis for this for now. And field stresses and body stresses, so uh, both will be applicable, so that's okay. Let's click OK. And what else we have to do? We have to take care of the stresses. Another uh, what we say boundary conditions, right? And we have to give gravity and use actual ground surface. That is correct, right? Because 0 is at this point, and anything that is standing above 0 will be calculated accordingly. So that's it. I feel any other thing we are missing? No. Right. So let's save it. Okay. Problem again. Same name. Let's save it as same name and analyze. Too slow. Why? Okay. One thing we forgot because we have to do it. Do the SRF. So we have to values. And as taking time, what I will do is I will change the mesh setup to lower degree so that we can do it quickly. And click OK. Yeah, let's do that. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's see now how much time it takes. In the meantime, it is processing. So because it is a SRF study, so it will take some time. You see, as long and tall the models are, it will take correspondingly high amount of time, generally based on what kind of number of nodes and number of elements are there, right? And correspondingly it takes time depending on that. Uh, let's minimize that, and because we have to do some more work, so let's do that part first. Uh, so in new, what we want to do is we have to do something like a similar analysis that we did uh, uh, for uh, uh, for our RE wall, and for that, let's make a 100 by 100 or maybe 120 by 120 external boundary. We can add excavation initially, so let's add excavation first and put a table here and put our coordinates, so that can be done, right? And in order to encapsulate that, we can put a box around this, or rather than doing that, what we can do is we can define the external boundaries. uh, User defined, and we can basically make the remaining portion as external wall, external boundary. Just just readjust this. So which one is that? Second point, right? Second point should be same, having same IS first. So let's put that as 60 and put this as 100. Now it's perfect, right? So, and what we can do is we can add stages, project settings, stages from 1 to 2, right? And there is a need for a material boundary. Now just let me do this stuff and I'll explain what I'm doing and why I have to do it again. So this I think analysis is done. Let's see what happened. So this was the previous analysis. We just finding SRF, right? And let's see what we found. Okay, so we are finding that in this case, basically it is having a quite different result as compared to what we found in our LEM. So, and I actually predicted that in LEM. I was surprised why it is not doing that. So in this case, it is highly, it is changing to a highly unstable slope. And why it is because uh, the kind of material body definitions we have given. So what is happening is, in that case, it is basically just defining the circular failures. While actually, in this case, circular failure won't happen. We saw the example of a failure in limit equilibrium method where there was a straight line and then a circular failure, but it is showing that there are more possibilities. So let's see those. And the critical is 0.21, so this one is there. And in if we extend that, we are seeing right now the maximum strain. So the most critical point of failure will be this with a maximum. Let's see how much deformation is happening, how much total displacement is there. So the top will be basically sheared off. So basically these are these kind of edges are generally very easy to fail. And that's why finite element is very in this case we find certain different results sometimes, and especially in different geometries. What is happening right now, we have to understand. We can see this one is 1.6 meters deformation, and basically it is saying it has failed in that. And if we say SRF1, that is SRF1, so basically quite an extensive failure. And why this is happening? Why we have a very high critical SRF, very high factor of safety there and very low here? The difference is that the properties that we are giving and the way in which this is quite different. This kind of analysis is very important to basically cross check what we are seeing. So which one is correct? Uh, this the version we are seeing right now is giving us the possibility of local failure as well. In the limit equilibrium method, what we were seeing was the possibility of only circular failures. So again, things depend on what kind of stability analysis we are doing. In here, we can see each and every element that is failing based on our analysis of individual elements and individual nodes, right? In this, while in the case of limit equilibrium method, we had restricted it into circular or circular related failures. So in that case, we couldn't find the smaller localized failure that could happen due to the steepness of this material, this slope, and due to the fragility of this material. So In that sense, representative can be more finite element, but again, we have to cross check with what kind of results we are finding on field. So a good example, we have seen how different methods have quite a different results that we can see, and we have to also understand why these are. So a good example, we have seen how different methods behave differently. Generally don't. They generally don't. So in this case is a special case in that sense. Okay. And what else we wanted to see? So the second step was we wanted to see was the maximum stress and deformation at the base. What we can do is we can do it quickly if possible, because already you are out of time. So that's what I was doing. Basically what I am doing is now I have made it into an external boundary, and I will do it in two stages. The stage one and stage two. Stage one will be this will be excavated, right? And for this we will assign the material. Okay, we don't have the material properties there. And in the second case will be basically simulating the dump material here, something like that. So let's first import the material properties uh, from this problem that we just did. We can have overburden and base. So we have this facility of directly importing the overburden and base properties that we just wrote in another simulation. So that's that ways it becomes easy. So in base we put dump or SST. On top we have base. So this is these are two different stages. And what we want to do is let's do the discretization quickly. Discretization and mesh, and free the part that is irrelevant to us. We are just sorry. Right. So this will be for base, and for the second one, let's restrain this as well. This will be for the overburden. Now we are not doing SRF analysis. We are just doing the stress analysis, simple stress analysis, and we'll see how things are behaving and what is the difference, right? Deformation and all. So let's click OK. Let's see what are the support requirements or the displacement requirements. So I'll take just 2-3 more minutes, then we'll go. We'll have the gravity and use actual ground conditions for both, even in this. So I don't think we have to redefine it. Yeah. So that's done. That's done. And so let's simulate this quickly. Okay, I think boundary conditions we have to give anyway, so that's okay. It is external. Okay. Anyways, let's save this, and this is the second part of it. So let's save the test2 and analyze. Okay. So we'll stop after this. There are a few more things that we have to do, but I think those can be done in later stages. Now tell me one thing before all of you leave. You have class, right? Okay, blasting technology. So will you guys be willing to give a test this week for CAM, or let's put it in next week? you are loaded this week or next week. Computer applications, we need to have a test soon. So when can it be? Either this week or next week. Most probably it will be on Thursday during our lab class. So when do you suggest? Anyone? Okay. So before that, we are seeing how just the base is behaving under gravitation, simple. No deformation, I suppose. Total deformation is none. While as we go for the addition of this, how much deformation is or the stresses are redistributing, we can see here, right? So this difference we can see, we can analyze that, and how the stresses are changing. So we can have mean stresses and how the stresses change as we put the overburden material. This can be very clearly visible from 40 kilopascal on the top almost to a point at 750 or 800 kilopascal. We can see how the stresses are developing. So this kind of analysis we do. I will stop here. You can try this analysis out, try to solve this problem and see what you get. I will send you this maybe even in chat I can send somewhere. So do try this out and see what you get. Someone was saying something. Next week. Oh my God. Next week, are you sure you will be free? Well, plan for next week then. Let's continue with our regular classes for now. So tomorrow, computer applications, what we will be trying to do is starting the simulation work on three-dimensional work in ANSYS. Let me figure it out if all things are working today, because license issue is always there. So if things are working, we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, any questions till now? I'm sorry to take your 5 minutes more. This took much longer than expected. But anyways, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, all of you. If any questions are there, we can have it now.
Hello, sir. This is Rohan.
Yes, Rohan.
Sir, can we discuss now about that one I said in the lab class?
The probability
regarding
one?
that MATLAB problem. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, let's see.
Sir, I think if I share the screen, it will be more better. I can explain the problem.
Will it be better? Will it be better if I close the class and call you back on the MS
Yes,
Teams?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
sir.
do that. Let me close this class so that I can get the attendance, and
Yes, sir.
then I'll call you. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Anyone else has any questions we can have? Otherwise, let's close the class. Thank you.